Good afternoon. This is almost 4 o'clock, and welcome. I'm looking for myself on Facebook so that I can respond to comments. So let's see if I can find myself. Let's see. I hope everybody's having a good day today. And it looks like Facebook is being Facebook. I had problems. I didn't have problems earlier. I know other people have had problems earlier. And it looks like I might be having problems now. All of a sudden, I can't get on Facebook. Let me exit out and get back in. If you are watching on a replay, go ahead and forward a minute or so. I don't know what's going on. You know what? Give me just a moment. Let me see if I can get my iPad and I can see my iPad. One moment. All right, folks, I'm back with my iPad. And let me see if I can find you guys on my iPad now. I apologize for this. I thought the gremlins are gone because we were able to I was able to get on things this morning, but that was my personal page. It wasn't my business page. So I guess Facebook is Facebooking with business pages. So let me pull up on my iPad my business page so I can catch up with, oh, wait a minute. I'm seeing myself now on, oh, there we go. Seeing myself now on my business page, I think. Let's see. Hold on, folks. I'm not able to see comments. Give me just a moment. If you're watching this replay, please go ahead and forward a minute or so. And we will... see if I can find myself. There I am. Yay! All right, woohoo! All right, hi Patty, hi Tammy. Yes, that was your problem with your laptop and you tried your iPad. That's what I thought. I thought I'd run and get my iPad real quick, but as soon as I came back and started looking up on my iPad, all of a sudden I could see it on my laptop. So crisis averted, but it did take me a little bit. So I'm on my laptop, yay! All right, so anyway, welcome to Teach It Tuesday with Tammy and Jenny. Tammy and I decided we were going to do the triple time technique today. It's a fun technique that gives you a lot of creative ways to complete layering on your cards if you like to layer your cards, but give you a solid picture, I guess would be the best way to say it. But Tammy did a beautiful job with flowers this morning and a thank you card in 2 different colors. And I'm going to show you using painted stripes and cutest onesie. I'm going to do a fun baby card. I'll tell you, I'm the kind of person that if I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, I will. And my daughter asked for me the other day to make her a baby card for a friend who's having a little girl. And they're doing a baby shower. So I have to ship this off to Texas so my daughter can give it to the friend for the baby shower. But I thought, why not try out triple time with this? And so that's what I'm going to do. So these are the 2 stamp sets I'm using. I'm also using the dies that go with the cutest onesie. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you. I did the pink one for the baby girl as my sample, but I thought, why not do it in blue so that I have one for a girl and one for a boy. I don't know anybody having a boy yet, but you never know. So this is our triple time. I used Melon Mambo and Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink, and I did an ombre look on the striped, painted striped stamp set. And I'll show you some of the techniques that I use to get this done since we don't have the Stamparatus anymore. I did something else. So anyway, we're going to do this, but we're going to do it in blue. And let me go ahead and show you. We're going to use Blueberry Bushel And here's all my pieces and parts. I have this written down so I can give you measurements, but don't worry about it. All my measurements will be on my my blog tomorrow, and I will have everything on my blog, including links to everything and so forth. So anyway, this card base is, well, depending on how you do it. This card base, I decided to go 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. However, this one I did as an opening upward. So this one is actually 11 by 4 1/4. I used a stamp set that is retired because my daughter asked me to include a Bible verse in there. But we're going to go ahead and do this, and let's go ahead and we're going to burnish our card base, and then let's see, we have our 3 here. You know what I forgot to cut? So let me go ahead and get one out so I can cut from my inside of my card. I always forget about the inside of the card when I'm preparing for these. So let's go ahead and cut the inside and do the inside of the card real quick. I'm going to go ahead and cut a white piece of cardstock to 4 5 1/4, and we're going to go from there. All right, I think that's it for there, and I am going to we're going to stamp a little design with the star. We're going to use the heart and the star, and we're going to alternate them. And so what I would like to do, what I do is I will put these down here, and we'll set them, the stamps on there, so I know they're right in the position they want. Oops. There we go. Can you see that? All right, and then I'll put it on my thing. We're going to use, I think we're going to go ahead and use, let's use Azure Afternoon as one of my blues. I'm going to use all blues. I'm using Blueberry Bushel, Azure Afternoon, and Balmy Blue. And we're going to just go ahead and put that there. We're going to move it over and do another one here. And we're going to stamp again, and I think we're just going to get that heart on there. There we go. So we'll rub that off and clean that off. All right, we'll close this up until I'm ready to use it. Now I'm going to clean this real quick because I am going to use the hearts on the front of the stamp set. So I'm going to put my heart back on my smaller block. Although that block's not sold anymore, I still like using it because it's nice and tiny. So anyway, let's go ahead and put the star away because we're not going to use the star anymore. And then we are going to use the sentiment. It says, a big welcome to your baby, your new baby. And we're going to do that in Azure Afternoon too. I hope everybody's having a great day. We are having a nice sort of cool day. Although it's warm in here, I turned on the fan in the other room and pointed in this direction to get the air going. But it's supposed to really warm up, and we're supposed to be close to 100 where I'm at. And you know what? I think in all the confusion with everything going on with my video, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Jenny Fetz, and I am an independent demonstrator, Stampin' Up demonstrator in East Contra Costa County, by the Delta. And we get a lot warmer weather. I know California has microclimates here in the Bay Area, and I have some friends that are probably experiencing nice cool weather where we're having a little bit on the warmer side. So let's go ahead and put this in here. We'll put that in. Ooh, looks like my glue is definitely working. I made sure I cleaned it out before I did it, because sometimes when I leave it in my little glue holder, it develops a skin on it in the little tip, and so I like to make sure I clean it out, because sometimes I forget to clean it out before I get on my lives, and then I'm having to grab the pin. And if you want to know how to clear it out, I just use a cute little push pin, and I stick it up inside the hole, and it pulls out any any dried glue or gummy glue in there. All right, so there's the inside of the card. And we're going to go ahead now and do the outside. Now, here's 3 pieces of paper. And let me tell you, the sizes of the white paper is 4 by 5 1/4, 4 by 5 1/4, which is pretty much the same size of any basic panel that you're going to put on the front of a card. But here we're going to add a few more layers. All right, so then we have the 4 by 5 1/4, we have 3 by 4 1/4, and then we have 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. So what we're going to do in order to create this fun look, we're going to do the stripes on here. And I have, oh, here it is. I have, I learned a tip from Tammy today, and I want to try it out, but I didn't want to do it while live on camera. But apparently, you can use our Stampin', our stamp dots, dot adhesives, the glue dots. I don't know why I said Stampin'. The glue dots, and you can put it on the paper, and then you gummy it up with, or not gummy it up, you get your finger, tap your finger on it, and it puts some of your skin oils on there, so it doesn't create a solid adhesive connection, so that it almost becomes like removable tape. I have some removable tape here, so I'm just going to use a little bit of removable tape on this, and we're going to center this, the 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 in the center of our 4 by 5 1/4 paper. And sometimes it's a little hard to see if you're working white on white. And then we're going to take the 2 1/4 by 3 1/4 and put a little of that removable adhesive on the back of that and center that one again. So center that one too, and I'm going to look at it. It almost doesn't quite look center. I'm going to have to stand up to do this. All right, we'll do, all right, that's centered. And now that's centered. All right, so now we've got it centered. Let's set this aside. We're going to take out our painted striped stamp set, and I have this on the largest block, which is the letter F block. And what I'm going to do is I am going to do an ombre look with blending brushes onto the stamp pad, and then I'll show you how I had a piece of scratch paper. Here it is. I use a piece of copy paper to help put pressure on it so I don't get ink all over, because this is definitely bigger than our card layers that we're doing. So let's go ahead and we're going to start with the darker color first. And I'm going to just apply using this. I'm going to put Blueberry Bushel at the top. And you know, let's see. Yeah, we're going to do Blueberry Bushel at the top. So we're just going to brush it on here like this. All right. And I'm going to go down a little bit. I may not get, let's go like this. If you don't have blending brushes, you can always use sponge daubers to do this. And now I'm going to go with the Azure Afternoon. Actually, I think what I might do is do Balmy Blue first at the very bottom, and then I'll put Azure Afternoon on top. That way I'm not putting darker ink on my light blueberry, Balmy Blue. So this, when you use the lighter colors, you can't see them as well on the rubber stamp, but that's okay. You can still see it a little bit. You can see there's some slight coloring difference. All right, let's do a little bit more. Tap. I want to make sure I got plenty on there. All right, now let's use Azure Afternoon. We're going to put that right in the middle. All right. All right, we'll do that. We're going to overlap into the Blueberry Bushel, and then overlap also down over some of the Balmy Blues so it sort of blends together. All right. Make sure it's really well covered. Let's see. I want to make sure I get plenty on there. All right. Let's go ahead and set those off to the side so I don't get them on the card, the extra ink. Sorry about the reach. Now, I'm going to take this down, and I'm going to just sort of, I'm going to stand up again and look down. I'm going to just sort of apply it down, but I'm not going to move it around. And I'm going to take my copy paper, and I'm just going to rub like this to get pressure. Now, you can do, I have seen people take some of the blocks and rub, and you could do that for pressure. But what you want to make sure is when you're doing that, you're not moving the cardstock around so that it gets blurred. All right. So go ahead and take this off. You can see I used it for my strawberry slush one yesterday. And then I'm going to use my offset tweezers just to pick it up and turn it over. And there is my blues. So I got it okay. I sort of like that, the breaks in that. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to lift these off. And now this is what it looks like. You've got the whole stamp, but you've got the different areas. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create our layers that gives the blue. We're gonna use the blueberry bushel because that's the base color of our card. I usually like to use my cardstock layers, colored cardstock layers in this, the same color as the card base, because then it looks like a cohesive layering from the very bottom on up. Now this one is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, and that one will lay right here. And then before I put that on there, I'm going to center this one, and then we're going to center this piece on top of that. So let's go ahead. And we're going to use our glue. Our glue is great when you are layering because it gives you a little bit of wiggle room and it doesn't stick immediately, so that you can make sure it's layered or centered. There we go. Let's see. Yep, that's centered. All right, we're going to go ahead and layer this on now. Put this cardstock down. And you're going to line it up with the other image there. And then we're going to take this one, and this one is 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. Oh, you know what? I made a mistake. I told you that my white cardstock was 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. It's actually 2 by 3. This is 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. It's what happens when you have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's 6 layers altogether, but that's when you have multiple measurements listed one right after the other. All right, we're going to glue this and put this down in the center. There's that, and then we're going to attach this down here. All right. You know, and I did all my prep yesterday and I realized, there we go. There is our layers. I love this look. And then we're going to layer it on here. All right. Let's put this on here. And then I just realized I need to grab, I don't have measurements out for the stamp of the baby onesie that we're going to use, but I will create that. It's not that big of a piece of cardstock. Matter of fact, we'll use, no, I think I've got, let's see, do I have any, this cardstock, this baby onesie is perfect with scraps. I've got a piece of scrap here, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And I'm going to do it in Azure Afternoon. Here's my baby onesie. And we're going to go ahead and stamp this. And then we're going to die cut it out. There's our onesie. Now I did try at one point, I tried coloring in on the pink one, and I didn't like it, so I redid the onesie. But let's go ahead and actually I'm going to do the hearts on here real quick. Where did my heart stamp go? There it is. So I hope everybody had a wonderful 4th of July. All right, let's go ahead and stamp here. I'm going to put hearts here. There we go. And then, I don't know, I think I should, we're going to test this out. Because with my little girl card, I colored the hearts in with the same color of Stampin' Blend. But I'm wondering if it would look cute if I did, say, the dark balmy blue with the Azure Afternoon for a little bit of contrast. Yeah, I like that. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to color in so that it's not the exact same color. So we're going to go ahead and color in with our Stampin' Blend dark balmy blue. We're going to color in our hearts because we know little boys and little girls, they bring us so much joy in our lives. Yeah, that looks cute. All right, let's go ahead and die cut this out. Where's my dies? Ah, there they are. I kept them inside the stamp set. So we're going to go ahead and line this up. Hopefully my head's not this. Oh, I'm glad you love this, Tammy. All right. Let's use our Post-it note. I want to make sure I see all my outlines. All right. Let's go ahead and we're going to cut this off in just a second. I'm off screen here. All right. All right. And there is our cute little onesie. Now, don't be alarmed if when you die cut it, if you notice that there's a slight insert here, it will glue down and you won't be able to see it, but it works out fine. With this real cute stamp set, you have the ability to actually die cut out a hanger, and then you can put it in there so it looks like the hanger is, oh, okay, sounds good, Tammy. You can hang this, you can show a onesie hanging on a hanger, which is really cute. So that's what that slot is in there for. All right, let's look. We're going to put this right here. And then what we're going to do, let me put this on, where did I put my Stampin' Dimensionals? Actually, we're going to go foam adhesive sheets. Team Foam Adhesive. All right. I'm going to cut a piece here. Perfect size. I love foam adhesive sheets. All right, we're going to put that one right there. Make sure it's centered. There we go. And now we're going to have a small piece of blueberry bushel, and it is 1/4 inch by 2 1/4. And we're going to do some heat embossing, and it says Sweet Boy. So I'm going to rub my embossing buddy on it. I'm going to take my Versamark, and I'm going to just Sweet Boy right in the center. And I've got my, let's see, my embossing folder. So you're glad you just, I know, me too. You know, I've tried this technique in the past, Tammy, and I could never get it to work. It always looked funny to me. And this time, for whatever reason, it's really working out, and I'm grateful for that. All right, let's go ahead and do our, we're gonna use white embossing powder to, there we go. And then we're gonna heat up our heat gun, so don't mind the sound. Get this, I'm gonna put some of this stuff off to the side so I don't make a mess of my, it's already a mess, but so I don't get ink all over everything. Put things aside. All right, so now we're gonna We're gonna heat emboss so we get the white. All right, sweet boy, awesome. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take it and I'm gonna take my paper snips and I'm just gonna cut a small angle on either side. Now, what you can do is you can always cut it one direction, and then in order to make sure you get the same, I always turn it the opposite way, or turn it over so that I'm going in the same direction. All right. Almost looks like I'm looking at this and I almost need it a little bit closer. And then we're going to put a small piece of foam adhesive sheet on it. So, you know what? I've got a question for you guys. I'm curious. When I'm in my craft room, I either listen to music, because I've got some wonderful Spotify playlists, or I will watch TV. Usually it's something I've watched in the past and I just really want to rewatch it, but I'm familiar with it. What do you do when you craft? Do you like to listen to music? Do you like it to be very quiet? I can't handle quiet. Or do you like to watch TV or listen to music? I'm curious. All right, we're going to use the rainbow dots, and we're going to use, I think that one's Pool Party. No, that's Pool Party. This is Balmy Blue. We're going to do Balmy Blue. We're going to do a couple of the smaller ones because I cut a little too much edge off of there. So we're going to go one there and one right there. And there is our sweet boy. There is our triple time card. Right now when I'm watching, just to answer my own question, I usually listen to music, but I have, for whatever reason, gotten onto a binge watching of watching Downton Abbey all over again. It's been a few years since I've watched it, and I started at season 1, and I'm already on season 4 because I like to watch it while I'm working or whatever. I think what it is a lot of they've got a new movie coming out. The grand finale is coming out in September, and it's coming on my Facebook feed, and I click on it, so now it's all in my Facebook feed. So I'm seeing all these different reels, and I thought, you know what, I want to watch it again. So anyway, I've been watching Downton Abbey while creating. So what do you like to do when you're creating? Let me know in the comments, and I would love to see what you guys like to do. In the meantime, here is my sweet boy baby card. Welcome to your new baby. And it uses the triple time, and it's using the cutest onesie and painted stripes. I'd love to know what you think about this. I cut Sweet Boy a little too short. This is what I want it to look like. You like 100% quiet. Yep, some people work really well when it's quiet. I don't work well when it's quiet. I have a real difficult time. Even if it's noise in the background, I need noise. So anyway, but I hope you enjoyed this. Come back tomorrow to my blog, www.stampinwithjenn.com. Stampin is with 2 N's and Jenn is with 2 N's. And you're going to laugh at me. I cleaned off my desk and I found my little note that had my name and everything on it. Oh, there it is. My little sign that had my blog on it. www.stampinwithjenn.com. 2 N's in Stampin, 2 N's with Jenn. I found it, hadn't been able to find it for a while, and I set it aside someplace safe, and you know how it goes. When you put something someplace safe, sometimes you can't find it again. But I found it. So anyway, join me tomorrow, and you can find all the information for these cards, as well as a link to Tammy's to see her beautiful thank you card she did in, I I believe it was Strawberry Splash and Pretty in Pink. And then she also did one in Timid Tiger and Peach Pie. Beautiful card that can go for summer or fall. And so you'll want to catch that. Next week, what are Tammy and I doing? Let me look at my calendar. Tammy and I will be doing, next week is a sketch challenge. So join us next week to see what we're going to do with one of our sketches. I can't wait to, I have to look at that sketch. Can't wait to see what stamp set I'm going to pull out and what DSP I might be pulling out to share with you. So thank you again for joining me. Have a great week. And believe it or not, next week when we meet up, I cannot believe it, we will be halfway through July already. I'll tell you, this year is going by really fast. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.